This is Alan, and let's move forward in the book of Mark. So let's go ahead. And Jesus said to him, "If you can, all things are possible for one who believes." Mark chapter 9, verse 23. It is very interesting that people have to believe things for themselves and no one else can believe it for you. You see, because your goals might be so ambitious that usually people don't believe that you can achieve it. So you might be clapping for yourself for the entire journey. And it can make one very anxious, right? Because when others don't believe in you, the first thought is that, oh, probably I shouldn't do it and it's not worth pursuing. That's exactly when you should just cheer for yourself and start and keep moving forward. You see, what happens is that people usually project their own limitations onto others, consciously or unconsciously. Or maybe people are doing that to put you down. There is jealousy at play and there is narcissism. So usually people project their limitations on others. So at that moment you have to constantly analyze the path you are taking to achieve your goals, right? You have to see, okay, the goal that I'm trying to achieve, is it worth it or not? Okay, so what are the consequences of it and what is it gonna take, and am I ready to give the sacrifices? And usually it's just best to begin with the journey of achieving whatever goal that you're pursuing, and along the way you have to make certain choices, and that's exactly when you know that you're pursuing the right path, because you can't plan out the entire journey from start till finish, because there is an element of uncertainty, which is good, by the way. Otherwise the whole journey wouldn't be exciting, because you would know exactly what's gonna happen. And people probably can orchestrate all the details, but not every detail, not every minute detail, because there are things that come into play. Some accident might happen, or probably you get a boost which rapidly accelerates your journey to achieve your goal. So there are things like that, and that's exactly what makes the entire hero's journey so exciting. So you have to believe for yourself that you can achieve your goal. You are the core belief. You are your own cheerleader. You have to keep on cheering for yourself even if no one else is doing it for you. Look, once you achieve that, cheerleaders are gonna come in anyways, because you proved them. And there is a sense of respect that comes out of people when they see other people achieving things that they themselves could not, right? So necessarily people don't have to like you, but they can respect you, and that's something. That is something, and that is much more long lasting and much more satiating, as far as I see. So let's go ahead. So in Mark chapter 9, from verses 43 to 48, Jesus says certain things about getting rid of certain things. So usually it's like, get rid of your right hand, because it is better to get rid of your right hand than doom your whole body to hell. So get rid of your right hand if it causes you to sin, and in because it is much better to doom your whole body to hell. Okay. And he talks about like that in about the foot and the eye too. Okay, well, these things can't be taken in the literal sense, because these things are very important to us, and if we start getting rid of our body parts, you know everyone is constantly flawed, and we are always attempting, well, most of the people are always attempting to get better. So, and the way of human is such that it is sinful, knowingly or unknowingly, because it might be because you might be sinning when you are knowingly doing such an act which you know you shouldn't do, right? So, and if we didn't sin, we wouldn't know what is right, because you wouldn't know something is wrong if you don't know what is right, or you wouldn't know what is right if something is wrong. So it getting rid of things that are holding you back, which you think are so important to you, like your hand and your feet and your eyes. There can be beliefs that you hold dear to your heart, that you are convinced that it is the truth, but you haven't thought about what it really is. These are just hollow beliefs with no backing to it. You haven't done your research, you haven't really thought about your beliefs. You probably heard it from somewhere, from someone, and you haven't really put in your own critical thinking skills into establishing if the belief that you hold so dear to your heart is the right one or not. So that might be exactly the very thing that is stopping you from going to the next level. So it is always good to be in a constant mode of self analysis to see, all right, you know what, this is what I believe, and is it true or not? Well, how do you establish if something is true or not? Well, that's it. You can always ask for constant feedbacks from people around you, and you don't have to believe everything that people say, but you can take that feedback and do your own self analysis. Already, you know what, this is what I could gather from others around me, people who I closely relate with, and this is what I could understand, and maybe I need to make a few repairs to my beliefs, and that will give me a new perspective on my belief, and a new belief can be established, which will help me to go to the next level. And it's not a guarantee, but the probability of you making the right decisions goes up, right? Because nothing in life is guaranteed, that's for sure. That's exactly what makes life fun. Because if everything went according to what you planned, I don't think life would be fun. Imagine watching a movie, everything was, the hero's life, he planned something for himself and everything went according to the plan and nothing ever went wrong. You wouldn't watch that movie, would you? So what you can do is just do a constant self analysis of your own beliefs and see if they have any core value, or is it just something that you heard from somewhere, from a video or from wherever. So you gotta keep on moving forward, like Jesus says. And Jesus looked at them and said, with man it is impossible, but not with God, for all things are possible with God. Mark chapter 10, verse 27. There are things in life when you think about them, it just makes you really anxious because you are relying on your own capabilities to achieve that. Well, many times in life you have to ask the higher power, here it is God, for help. For me, my constant prayer is, God, whatever it is that I'm trying to do, it is beyond me, so I need your help all the time, and help me to make the right decisions, and help me make myself wiser and less stupid. So that's my constant prayer, because there is a element of humility in that. I don't know everything that there is, but I would like to be wiser today than I was yesterday. So that's a constant prayer. And you have to ask God for that extra help, that help exactly what you need from God, because there are things that you can't achieve on your own or with the people around you. You need the transcendent help. And people say leave everything to God, and they just don't do anything that they need to do. They're like sitting ducks. Well, God constantly asks for sacrifices, and people miss this part out when they say leave everything to God. You have to leave everything to God. Yes, it is true, but you have to be in a constant state of effort to prove to God that you're worthy of receiving the help from Him. Because every single time God asks for sacrifices, and it will be taken from you voluntarily or involuntarily. It is better if you offer it voluntarily, it is less painful. And it is better, right? Because then you can go on your hero's journey. There are experiences that you get and you learn from them and you become a better person, and that is much more of a satiating feeling that a human being can get. And the process of attempt is exactly when God's plan is in play. So it is very good to be aware of that when you are suffering. Well, guys, thank you for the opportunity. I'll see you next week.